that warm, comforting cup of tea you have every day? What if it was doing a whole lot more than just helping you wake up or unwind? What if it was actually, quietly, supporting one of your body's absolute hardest working organs? Well, today we're going to explore that surprising connection between tea and the health of your liver. So let's dive right in with the big question. Could that simple daily habit, your cup of tea, really be a secret weapon for your liver? It's a pretty fascinating idea, right? We're going to unpack what the latest research has to say about which teas might help, and, even more importantly, how you can enjoy them safely. Here's a quick look at our game plan. We'll start with why your liver health is such a big deal in the first place. Then, we'll zoom in on green tea and its link to a condition called NAFLD. After that, we'll check out some popular herbal infusions, see what the deal is with black tea, and then we'll wrap it all up with a super important guide on how to sip safely. Okay, section 1. Let's talk about the surprising power of tea, and to do that, we first need to understand why your liver is so incredibly important. So to set the stage, let's start with a number that might honestly shock you. Nearly a quarter, 1 in 4 Americans are affected by a really common liver condition. This isn't some rare niche issue, it's a huge deal, which is exactly why this research matters so much. And that condition is non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, or NAFLD for short. Basically, it's when fat builds up in the liver, but it's not caused by drinking alcohol. What's really crucial to understand here is that it's often tied to other metabolic issues like obesity and type 2 diabetes. That means our lifestyle and diet choices are a huge part of the picture. All right, let's get into our first tea, and it's a super popular one, green tea. We're going to look at its connection to NAFLD and the power of these cool little compounds it has called catechins. So what in the world are catechins? Well, they're a type of antioxidant, and green tea is just packed with them. Their main job is to help protect our cells from damage. You can almost think of them as tiny bodyguards for your cells, fighting off a lot of the bad stuff. So what might all those little bodyguards be doing for your liver? Well, some studies have linked regular green tea drinking to a lower risk of developing liver cancer. And for folks who already have NAFLD, it might help bring down their elevated liver enzymes. But, and this is key, the effect isn't the same for everyone. It can really depend on your overall health to begin with. And this is where the research gets super nuanced and just, well, fascinating. One study compared 2 different groups. For people with NAFLD, drinking green tea was associated with a decrease in their high liver enzyme levels, which is a good thing. But for the healthy adults in the same study, it actually led to a small, non-harmful increase. It's a perfect reminder that our bodies are complex, and what works for one person might work differently for another. Okay, so that's green tea, which comes from the traditional tea plant. Now let's venture out a bit and explore some herbal infusions. These are made from all sorts of other plants, and they each have their own unique thing going on. This chart gives us a great little snapshot of some of the key players. You've got milk thistle with a compound called silymarin that might help protect the liver. Then there's ginseng and its ginsenosides, which could help with inflammation. Hibiscus is packed with antioxidants, and good old ginger is, of course, a famous anti-inflammatory. But, and I can't say this loudly enough, this is a really big but, we have to keep this all in perspective. For most of these herbal teas, the research is still pretty early, or the effects found so far have been modest. Ginseng, for example, can actually interfere with certain medications. So the number one takeaway here is this. Always talk to a healthcare provider before you start adding new supplements or herbs to your daily routine. Seriously. Let's move on to another classic, one of the most popular drinks on the entire planet, black tea. Its potential benefits are thought to come from another group of powerful compounds called polyphenols. And the findings here are pretty compelling too. Some studies suggest that drinking a good amount of it, we're talking 3 or more cups a day, might be linked to a slightly lower risk of developing NAFLD. And for people who already have it, black tea has been associated with lower signs of liver scarring, which is also known as fibrosis. Okay, so here's that crucial point again. This research shows an association, not a direct cause and effect link. What does that mean? It means people who drink a lot of black tea also happen to have better liver markers, but we can't say for sure that the tea is the one and only reason why. The benefits are probably modest and are best seen as one small piece of a much bigger health puzzle. All right, we've talked about all the exciting potential benefits. Now we're shifting gears to what is arguably the most important section of this whole explainer: how to sip safely. This is our critical guide. And we have to kick this off with a really critical warning. Please listen closely here, because we need to talk about those products you see all over social media, the ones marketed as detox or cleanse teas. And this is not just some made-up risk. The source material is crystal clear on this. It says, and I'm quoting directly, doctors have reported cases of people experiencing liver injury after regularly drinking a few cups of liver detox teas each day. That is a very serious warning about the real-world harm that some of these commercial blends can cause. And the scale of this is just staggering. A 2024 study estimated that every single month, more than 15 million adults in the US are taking supplements that contain botanicals that could potentially damage their liver. And that often includes the super concentrated extracts found in a lot of those detox products. So, what can you do to enjoy tea safely? It really just boils down to these 3 simple steps. First, steer clear of those multi-ingredient detox blends and anything with highly concentrated extracts. Second, stick with the simple stuff, single ingredient or whole leaf teas. And third, and I'm going to say it one more time because it's that important, talk to your doctor before you start any new health routine. Which brings us all the way back to our final big question. After looking at all of this, is tea some kind of magic bullet for your liver? And the answer, very simply, is no. There really are no magic bullets when it comes to our health. But when you enjoy it safely as part of a balanced diet and an overall healthy lifestyle, a simple cup of tea can absolutely be a supportive and helpful addition. It's not the cure-all, but it can be part of the overall care. And that is definitely something worth raising a mug to.